Hello again, my name is Juicy Pat Lucy, and you're listening to The Juicy Details, episode 18. You know, sometimes it's hard to keep track of how many episodes, but we're in the double digits, so that's all that matters to me. It's December 26th, the day after Christmas, and December 27th is a more important date because Absolute Intense Wrestling, my home promotion, is having a big show tomorrow night entitled Dead Presidents. It's already one of the fastest selling AIW shows in history, I believe. I believe they've already sold more tickets than Absolution 5 with Bryan Danielson on it. It's incredible. I'm really excited about it. But what I'm more excited about is right now I have a very special guest on for an interview. He's headlining the show tomorrow as he takes on Chris Hero, one of his trainers, I believe. So, without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Tim Donst on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Definitely my pleasure. How was your Christmas, by the way? It's the day after Christmas, so I'm sure you have some stories to tell from your Christmas.
I got to see my family for once. That's always a good thing. I hardly ever get to spend time with them, so that was a nice surprise. You know, most of the time I end up, obviously I don't have many shows on Christmas, but I end up in the vicinity of previous shows. I'm always gone this week, but luckily I got to see my family, so it was a good time. Thanks. How's yours?
Oh, excellent. You know, it's always nice to spend time with the family and, you know, getting and giving gifts. You know, it's a wonderful holiday.
It is. It's a pretty good one. It's pretty up there. What other holiday do you get to wake up and then see, like, Stretch Armstrongs and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures underneath trees?
Well, I was always more of a WWE action figure kind of guy, but that's just me.
I see.
But, well, since you mentioned this, might as well just ask, what was the best Christmas gift you've ever gotten? If you can remember.
That's a good question. I vividly remember, I know you're a WWE action figure dude, but getting at the Technodrome when I was like really, 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 really young, probably 4 or 5, and it was awesome. It's probably still awesome, whatever part of my attic it's currently in.
Is that like a robot or sort? Or
did you ever watch Ninja Turtles?
You know what? Not so much, actually.
You missed out, man. You gotta redo your childhood. You better hope Steve the Turtle Weiner doesn't listen to this.
Oh.
The Technodrome was a giant robot sphere that Shredder lived in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles television series.
You're not the first one to tell me that, like, hey, you didn't watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when you were a little kid? What kind of childhood did you have, you know?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is like a really, really dark children's movie. Because it was an independent movie originally. Like, it's really good. You should check it out.
Yeah. I remember watching bits and parts of it. Well, it's actually kind of funny. The one TMNT movie that I did sort of watch was part 3, I think, when they went to like Japan or something, or they fought like ninjas or samurai.
I'm not sure, but you know, if you're a WWE guy, obviously, you know, your Kevin Nash is in Secret of the Ooze, Super Shredder, so there's that tie in there.
I did look up that clip on YouTube. That was pretty tight to see. Just Kevin Nash, Super Shredder. Wow, that made his career. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's get right into professional wrestling. I mean, I'm sure we can talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all day long, but what I'm interested to know is, well, first, how did you become a fan of professional wrestling when you were younger?
It was very organic. I think, I vividly remember playing like the N64 games with my cousin, like WCW versus NWL. I had no recollection of who the characters were, but I gravitated towards Lex Luger just because he had like the All-American, outfit, you know, in those games. So obviously he was the good guy and I was a young little kid, so I wanted to be good too. So it's funny how I, totally turned completely the opposite of good in the professional wrestling world for the most part. But, from there, you know, I went to junior high school and I got really big into collegiate wrestling, and that's around the time that Kurt Angle debuted on TV. So it kind of made me dive into collegiate wrestling more because I got more into pro wrestling, and being such a fan of Kurt Angle made me want to try harder in collegiate wrestling. So it was a nice symbiotic relationship.
When you were younger, were you more of a WCW guy or WWF?
No, totally WWF. Like I didn't watch WCW probably till I started training. I'd say like my very first Fed show I ever went to was the day that Eric Bischoff debuted as the general manager, and I had no idea who he was.
Yeah,
which is a pretty historical show to go for your first time, I imagine. I have no idea who he is.
And then, so you started wrestling in high school. What was that like for you early on?
Oh, it was tough. I mean, it was really, really cool of my parents to sign off and let a 16-year-old kid get thrown around by grown men. And, twice a week I had to drive to Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is an hour away from Stroudsburg, where I grew up. And that's not such a big deal, except for the fact that I was 16, so I wasn't getting home till, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then having to wake up at 5 o'clock the next day while trying to study and do homework and do flashcards while I'm driving. So I keep those grades up so my dad's still cool with letting me train. It was tough. It was really tough. But it took me 3 years where I finally debuted in 2007.
I mean, like, were your parents 100% behind your wrestling career, or were they kind of iffy about it at first? Like, were they like, maybe you should consider something else in case this doesn't work out?
Yeah, sure. No, that's a good question. My mom was very anti-it. And my dad kind of figured that there'd be a good way to keep me out of trouble. Because certainly, as bizarre as it sounds, because, I'm getting thrown around in my head and everything else, there's certainly a lot worse stuff a kid could be doing than trying to pursue his passion, and I think my dad really understood that.
Yeah, good point. So you chose the Chikara Wrestle Factory. What made you choose that school out of all the other schools in the surrounding area? Like, what made... Yeah.
Sure. The WXW, which is run by the Wild Samoans, was a really legitimately probably within a few blocks of the Chikara Wrestle Factory at the time. And I looked into going to their school because, they listed all these dudes that I knew that come from there. And I never heard of Chikara. No idea who Mike Quackenbush, Chris Hero, or Skydo was. And turns out that the Wild Samoan school was about $4,000, which was about $4,000 more dollars than I had in my bank account. And so luckily the Chikara Wrestle Factory, because I joined with my buddy, turned out to be way more cheaper than that. And I'm so thankful because of that, that Samoan school wasn't cheaper, because Chikara has been so influential in my career and my way of thinking and me growing as a person. So it worked out really well.
What was it like training at the Wrestle Factory early on, especially, since some of your trainers, like you just mentioned, Quackenbush, Hero, and Skyda?
Oh, it was awesome. They each kind of bring something different to the table. Quack's definitely more of a technical guy, obviously, a lot to do with the lucha and the submissions and the holds. He's so good at making stuff count. Hero completely was like an old school mentality approach, because he came from the Midwest. He's trained with numerous people over the years. So he's a tougher guy, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. So I can't tell you how many people quit, not just because of Hero, but because of the idea of how much professional wrestling hurts and the toll on your body and everything else. But Hero having that old school mentality certain kind of push guys towards that. So, I legitimately, I'd say it's over 35 people probably I saw attempt training and only to quit, while I kind of gravitated more and more towards it. And then there's Skyda, who's an amazing luchador, obviously trained a ton of people. And because he happened to be staying in the States at the time, and they don't just want me sitting out and watching because I was so new to the sport, they had me doing lucha arm drags and conquistadors and springboards before I ever learned how to do a headlock or a wrist lock.
Well,
sorry for the long-winded answer.
Yeah. Well, because you had 3 trainers at the time, did you ever learn more from any one of them more than the others, or would you say you learned just as much as equally as from all 3 of them?
That's a good question. I think, each one of them has a specialty, so all of them are better than the other at something. So each one of them completely taught me a lot in one particular subject, I'd say. But overall, between the three of them, when I went to Chikara, I liked professional wrestling, wanted to be a professional wrestler, but because of Quack and everybody else, that made me love professional wrestling.
Now, before you debuted, did you ever consider dressing up as a luchador, putting on a mask, and getting like your own gimmick, or did you like go into it saying, "I just want to be myself. I want to be Tim Donst"?
Are you trying to say I'm ugly and I should wear a mask?
I am not saying that, sir. I'm not.
Okay. No, I never wanted to wear a mask. I was very much an attention kid, so I wanted everyone to know who I was at school. As terrible as that sounds.
Well, alright, so you made your debut in 2007, I believe it was in a trios match, and then from there on, you teamed up with the likes of Hydra, and then you teamed up with the likes of Ultramantis Black, and then, you were still on your own at first, and like everyone knows of the infamous match with Eddie Kingston in Connecticut, where he just totally brutalized you. So, in your point of view, what was the first couple years of wrestling like for you, especially in Chikara, in your career?
What was it like? Sorry, or what did I think about it?
Yeah. What did you think about it? What were some what were some of your favorite matches and moments early on in your career?
Yeah, I was just really excited to debut, let alone in a famous arena like the ECW arena, changing in a locker room that the Van Dams and the Austins and all those other guys had been in. So that was really, really cool. I think, Chikara has such great wrestlers, such great talent, has such characters, all types of different personalities. So I think I got lost in the shuffle earlier on. And it wasn't until that match with Kingston where people really kind of, got who I was as a person, how much I love professional wrestling, because certainly nobody on the planet deserves to take that beating like I took. So that's like my first major moment that I remember. That's what I associate the first few years of my career with.
Yeah. And then it wasn't until, I believe, I want to say 2009, where you took a bit of a change in career. For all Chikara fans who may know, you turned on your partner and your friend at the time, Hydra, and then you went into your own path. You won the Young Lions Cup, and then you joined the BDK, and you really took a turn for, I won't say the worse, but, your career really, took off from there, because, you were, I don't know how to put it exactly, but, you definitely, your career turned 180 from where it began,
Sure.
2 years ago. So yeah, what was it like during your BDK time, and where fans really saw a different side of Tim Donst?
It was great. I hated teaming with Hydra. We had some good times, but I always felt like a joke. And a lot of things, the joke certainly isn't one of them. So I enjoyed that aspect of going off my own, because I think at the end of the day I'm a singles wrestler. That's where I want as much pressure on me as possible, because that's where I thrive. So obviously, being a singles wrestler, I get a little bit more of that. I think that it's really, really hard, because people associated me so much with my bouts with Eddie Kingston, me getting kicked in the face with Brody Lee, with the match I had with Icarus and New Star Navigation, where I got literally thrown to a wall. It's really hard to go from being the punching bag to being a threat. And I don't think it was until I turned on Hydra, until the BDK run, to my Young Lions Cup run, that people legit saw me as a contender.
Yeah, and what were some of your favorite matches you've had during your Chikara career?
There's one match, I want to say it's in Massachusetts, that I loved. It was me and Lindsay Dorado versus Equinox and Ricochet. It usually slips my mind, but someone just mentioned it the other day, and I love that match. And then, it's hard to believe, Now that I think about it, I'm the only one left in Chikara for that tag match. But then I think me and Danielson was obviously a highlight. Me and Quackenbush was a lot of fun. My favorite match of my entire career for the longest time was me versus Hydra, the loser leaves town match, and then certainly me versus Hollow Wicked at Chikara Rex.
Yeah, all great matches, all great moments throughout your career, and then...
Thanks.
And then, another moment in your career was, when you went to Japan through Chikara, when you went to, Osaka Pro, I believe. So can you talk a little bit about your trip to Japan? And that was one of your first I believe that was your first international, trip in professional wrestling. So can you talk a little bit what that experience was like?
Yeah, it was awesome. We slept at the dojo. We got to go walk around town all the time, got to trade a little bit. Really boosted, I think, all of our confidence in terms of being professional wrestlers, because you're working with people with a language barrier, a totally different style. So if you're able to thrive in that environment, then by all means you should be able to thrive almost anywhere you go. So that was a lot of fun, as was the sushi and the karaoke.
Karaoke, yeah?
Yeah, we did. Tadasuke came up to me the last night and he goes, Donst, you need karaoke? And I said, of course, please, I would love the karaoke. I've been waiting this entire time. Obviously he can't speak very well English, so he says, you, me, Backstreet Boy. And I said, absolutely, Tadasuke. And then we went on to sing I Want It That Way, in which case he didn't even have to look at the screen, which is pretty awesome.
That sounds pretty awesome. Is there a video of that anywhere surfing online?
I might have a video on my phone somewhere of us singing Don't Wanna Miss a Thing by Aerosmith, which is also surreal. By the way, Dasher Hatfield has the worst singing voice I've ever heard.
Dasher Hatfield?
Yeah.
Alright, well that's a juicy detail right there.
I'm just kidding, it's actually really good. It's better than mine. He should have sang Who's the Man.
Oh, he should have, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'll take your word for it. Would you ever like to go back to Japan if you had the chance?
I would love to. I'd love to go for, an extended stay. I learned so much over there. I love the culture. It's such a respectful culture. They take pro wrestling so seriously. It's great. I loved it.
How about any other countries? Are there any other countries or places you would like to travel to professionally wrestle?
Yeah, I would love to do a trip to Europe and Australia. Especially Europe, just because I think, because of the proximity, I'd be able to travel so much and wrestle so many different cities.
Any promotions out there specifically you know about that you'd like to wrestle for, or maybe any opponents out there?
I would love to do all of them. I would love to wrestle, me and Zach wrestled a match in HWA years ago, I think he wrestles in WXW probably mostly now. But that was a great match. I'd love to rematch him.
Alright, all good stuff. So, we went through your Chikara career. Now, another promotion that most people might know you from is, well, we just mentioned at the beginning, AIW, Absolute Intense Wrestling, in Cleveland, Ohio, my hometown. Yeah. You made your debut in 2010 when you teamed up with Pinky Sanchez. I believe you wrestled Sugar Dunkerton and Matt Classic that night. From there on out, did you know right there and then from your first night of AIW that you were gonna come back to the promotion, or did you want to come back after your first night in AIW?
I had no idea, literally, because I believe they announced the match as Lince Dorado and Pinky Sanchez versus Matt Classic and Sugar Dunkerton, and then something fell through with Lince, so I came in last minute, I want to say, I almost want to say within a week or 2 weeks, I'll replace him, so I wasn't even supposed to be on that show. I never thought about it actually till this conversation, but who's to say if I wasn't that replacement that I'd be in the AEW now? That obviously opened up the doors for me.
In your opinion, what do you think sets AIW differently from any of the other promotions out there?
A few things. I think I hate contracts in independent wrestling. You know, it hurts a lot of the shows, in my opinion. I understand why in some cases it might be necessity. But generally speaking, it's really hard to get certain talent to be able to work certain shows, whether it be iPay-per-view or non-iPay-per-view, just because they constantly run on different dates and all this other stuff. And the thing I love about AIW so much is it's truly the melting pot of the independents. No other place you're going to see more dudes from CZW, Chikara, Wrestling Is, Evolve, Dragon Gate, Ring of Honor, which is amazing. You're going to see matchups in AIW that you won't see anywhere else. I think all the guys work really hard. Everybody wants to be in the main event spot, which is why I feel so lucky to be in that match tomorrow, because literally everyone I think on that roster could deserves that spot just as much as I do. And then also obviously the fans are amazing. To me it's just as fun, if not more fun, of an experience I've ever had in the ECW arena. It's the same type of atmosphere. It's very much where, and you know this firsthand obviously because you go to so many shows, but the crowd's not one of those fan bases that just sit there and want you to impress them. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, no, totally.
People don't go there to give the wrestlers a hard time. People don't go there, sit on their hands and say, do something cool, impress me. But in the same token, they're not going to cheer everybody that comes to the curtain. It's not a show where, oh, this is wrestling, so everyone's really great and I love everybody. No, the fans at the AEW arena, they want you to succeed, but you have to earn their respect in order to succeed.
No, absolutely. Agreed. How about some of your favorite matches or memories throughout your AIW career? Because you've been here now for a good 3, maybe 4 years.
Wow, it's kind of long. Definitely I put on my list Madman Pondo. That was a really hurtful but fun match for me. A match with Brian.
No, I'm sorry. I was hoping you were mentioning your Madman Pondo match, because if you didn't, I was going to say that's probably one of my favorite matches or memories involving you, because before that, you were known as the Mat Wrestling Machine. You were more of a technical wrestler, and if I'm correct, this was one of your first forays into hardcore style brawling, all out wrestling. And I want to know what was that like for you going into the match, and how you were going to wrestle this deathmatch legend in Madman Pondo.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate the kind words a lot. It was great. I never went into wrestling this is the style I want to do, but certainly the right circumstances, it makes the most sense to kind of test my own self to see if I could do that style. If I'm going to do that style, I want to do it against the best hardcore dude around, which is no doubt in my mind that Pondo is a pioneer in the sport when it comes to those hardcore type matches. So it was really fun to kind of do something different, something unique. Obviously, you're not going to see a cinder block get smashed into someone's nutsack at a Chikara show, let alone a Tim Donst versus Madman Pondo hardcore match. So it was a lot of fun.
Would you say that, which was more fun for you, that match or your brawl with Hollow Wicked at a furniture store?
Oh, that's tough. Well, the brawl with Hollow Wicked did end up getting me getting arrested, so you just have to keep that in mind.
That's true. That's definitely one of the most craziest things I've ever seen in Chikara. You and Hollow Wicked just beating the hell out of each other at an abandoned furniture store.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. It was different for sure. I don't know the last time people saw two wrestlers fight amongst love seats.
Going back into your AIW career, I want to know where do you think the moniker Tim effing Donst came from? Because I remember that that came up abruptly one show, and how do you feel about the nickname Tim effing Donst?
It's a good question because I have literally no recollection of when it began. Like I think I remember vaguely hearing it once, and then maybe it happened a second time, and then maybe the third time, the announcer started using it, so I think it caught on. But no, dude, I love it. Like, I mean, it's probably no secret that AIW is my favorite place to wrestle right now. It's gonna be really hard for any place on the planet to shake that association in my brain. I think too, hearing that really, you're not going to hear that chant at the Char show, certainly, but hearing the crowd so involved makes me step up my game, certainly, whether it be against Derek Bateman or whoever else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Now, another thing I want to touch base on is, it's something I've been recently following for you. It's, on your Twitter, you like to sometimes ask, your own questions, which hashtag of, Ask Donst or Ask T. Yeah, Ask T. And some of your questions really, intrigue me. So what I would like to do right now is I would like to ask you your own questions.
That's very interesting. You have me very intrigued.
Yeah, because you definitely have some interesting questions to ask. Like, I'm gonna start with, I think very touch base on this was what childhood show still holds up to you? Would Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles still be a good guess?
No, I don't think it holds up, unfortunately.
No, okay.
So many few shows and movies do, like Three Ninjas doesn't. I don't think Pee-wee's Playhouse really does. I still love Saved by the Bell, but I think that's because it was supposed to be corny, so I think as an adult, it's okay to indulge in it because it's corny still.
Good answer. Yeah, how do you feel about the reboot?
I didn't mind the college years so much just because I was intrigued. Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch them, but I wasn't a fan of the new class, which, by the way, if you get a chance to read portions of Screech's autobiography, it's really entertaining.
I'll definitely jot that down.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you had a biography. Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, it's surreal. Like, he used to, like, sleep with all the extras, supposedly, like, in all the sets of Saved by the Bell, like, give him private tours when they closed. I want to believe him, but I don't know if I do.
He seems like a trustworthy guy. I don't think he would just blatantly lie about that, you know?
Yeah, you think the girls would, like, at least go for, like, Slayer or, Zach. But you have to go pretty low in order to do Screech.
You never know in the television business. And then, a couple other, interesting questions you asked. Let's see. What's your favorite Super Nintendo game of all time?
I'd say, Zelda: Link to the Past. No doubt. There was a time of gaming when, like, you actually needed gaming guides to beat certain games. That time has totally died because of the internet and everything else. So, that was just a lot of fun trying to beat that.
Fair enough. I was always more of the Donkey Kong guy.
The Donkey Kong soundtrack is awesome.
I love it when Botchamania uses it in their videos.
So if somebody's not coming out to the theme song of Donkey Kong, they got to make it happen soon because someone's missing the money on that one.
I don't know why US Ape didn't when he was around.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so good. They even came out that's like one of the first video games to have a CD come out because of how much people enjoyed the music.
Speaking of gimmicks, another question you asked, I really want to hear your answer. What gimmick hasn't been done yet or should be revisited?
I was thinking about this the other day. Shoot. I have one. This is actually, this is my own creation. I would love to see an annoying heel children's television host. Like, just imagine, like, Tech as that. Like, that'd be amazing.
Wow, that's... No, I agree. That'd be surreal.
Like, he just, like, annoys everybody. He spells out words all the time. Like, talks really slow. You could pause and, like, let the crowd answer.
Oh, no.
So
that
good.
would be great.
I just made a kid $1 million somewhere.
I hope Quackenbush is listening to this.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you think there's any gimmicks out there that should be revisited, perhaps?
I'm not sure. Nope, I can't think of any. Definitely not Hydra. I'm not sure.
Definitely not Hydra. I would love to see DJ Skittles make a comeback.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely, one of the first Jakara gimmicks that I discovered that maybe, think, hey, this promotion has a lot of wackiness to it. I'm intrigued.
I would just love to see a wrestler handing out Skittles during their entrance to the fans one more time.
Right on. And then, last question. I mean, you got plenty to ask.
No, I'm very intrigued. I've never, as often that, I enjoy asking people, I enjoy hearing other people's opinions because it gets my brain ticking. So a lot of these questions that I ask on my Twitter, I don't even have answers for because I'm just so interested in hearing other people's opinions.
Well, this question, again, a very interesting one. What moment made you love wrestling? Love. You capitalized it, so you're...
You know what it has to be? It's probably when Jericho beat Triple H for the title.
And then they, reversed the title decision that night?
Yeah, it was the most intriguing, heartfelt, the crowd went crazy. Jericho was one of the first dudes that I really saw, go up the ranks. When I got into wrestling. So, to see him, win, it was so thrilling. To see him lose it, and it pulled on my heartstrings. I loved it.
I want to say for me, this is a very hard question, very thoughtful one, but I want to say when I was younger, I really got into, the Austin Rock feud from, 97, when it was Nation of Domination Rock, not the corporate Rock. And it was,
Sure.
They were fighting over the Intercontinental title, which, at the time they made it seem very important, and then it was, I want to say it was when Austin threw the title into, the river or something. Yeah, the water. And,
yeah.
Just being like a little kid, I'm like, holy crap, he threw the title in the river? How are they gonna get that out?
Totally. And, I think the most unique answer, someone on my Twitter, my Facebook page, said a match that the Great Khali had got them to the wrestling.
Wait, what?
That's by far the most unique. Yeah.
I hope that's not a legit answer.
I believe it. I'm looking for that. It's interesting stuff.
Oh, man. I want to track down this person now and dig into his mind. God.
You can like wrestling to different things.
Well, finally I want to get into tomorrow night, cause, it's a big night for AIW, and especially you. You go one-on-one against one of your trainers, one of your mentors, and Chris Hero. So, what are some of your thoughts and feelings going into the match right now?
To be honest with you, I didn't know if this match would ever happen on the independents, let alone anywhere else. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's really surreal to think that I've known Hero since I was 16 years old. 10 years ago I first met him. Certainly I've evolved a lot as a person and a wrestler. I haven't seen him probably for close to 5 years, because pretty soon after I debuted in Chikara, he went on to bigger and bigger things. And, with that in mind, he wasn't there through all my trials and tribulations. And maybe it's better that he wasn't, because wrestling's a cutthroat business, and if you want to learn how to bleed, sometimes you gotta get cut. And so maybe he would have protected me a little bit more, but I'm glad I kind of went through what I had to go through. So tomorrow, hopefully, will be a nice surprise for both of us. So I think we're going to bring out the best of each other. In fact, I know we will. It's really surreal to think, again, that me and him have never been in a ring together at a show, especially coming from Chikara. We've never been in a tag match or a six-man. So this is the very first time for him to see us in the ring together.
Were you surprised to hear when he got released from the WWE?
I was. I think Hero's a great wrestler no matter what platform he's in, whether it be the independents or national television style. but I think between his promos and everywhere else, I think he would really appeal to a mass market.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just over the last couple of weeks, I've been watching some of his work in NXT, and he's had great matches with the likes of like the former Brody Lee and Sami Zayn, and yeah, to me it's just shocking that WWE didn't have anything for him and he couldn't make it up to the main roster at all.
Sure.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. To wrap it up, do you have anything else you would like to say and anything like to plug? Because
Sure. Feel free to check out my website, Donst.com. I talk about all the good answers about the FP questions. Likewise, if you can follow me on Twitter at TDonst, which is always a good time. And just want to thank you for supporting me in Indie Wrestling. I'm sure I'll see you tomorrow. I had a good time, and I really enjoyed your questions. Man.
Thank you so much again for joining me tonight. It was an extreme pleasure. I definitely look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, you and Hero. That should be a phenomenal match. AIW, like you said, is always a great time. If you're anywhere near the Cleveland, Ohio area, even if you're like 10 hours away, I don't care. It's worth it to come to AIW. Tomorrow, I've already mentioned this, is the biggest pre-sale ticket ever for AIW. I think John earlier told me they're like at 200, which is like I said, it's more than they had for when they brought Bryan Danielson back in after the.
It's last I heard, it's more than double any pre-sale in AIW.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, it's gonna be packed tomorrow. So and
you know the big thing is, if you're not a fan of Tim Donst, that's fine. Support indie wrestling and AIW because of Hero. If you're not a fan of Hero, go because of Elgin. Go because of Smothers. Go because of Cabana. AIW is such a mixed bag that you're certain to find somebody that you gravitate towards.
Well, to be fair, there's only literally one fan in the crowd that I know of that dislikes you. Yeah, I think you know who I'm talking about.
Maybe. I'm pretty sure he looks like the asshole.
Exactly. He's only.
That's what makes wrestling great. Is you can boo and cheer whoever you want to. But yeah, he definitely hates me a lot.
The only one who who chants like Tim Donst sucks or something like that. But
well, I hope tomorrow, hopefully, you and everyone else there, even against a great guy like Hero, can help balance that out.
I think tomorrow is going to be a very split crowd, just like it was. Oh yeah, I mean, I think is going to outdo the atmosphere that you and Hutter had back in Absolution. I mean, a lot.
Yeah, and that was crazy.
Oh yeah, it's just like it was 5 minutes straight of you and dueling chants, you and Hutter. That was surreal to me. But tomorrow, a lot of people are coming out for Hero. Like a lot of fans that rarely come to independent shows. They're coming out because.
That's true.
So, and then, but, the AIW faithful, they're always behind you, so I'm going into this thinking it's gonna be a split crowd, and it's gonna be even crazier than it was for you and Hutter.
I was thinking the other day, me and AIW have such an awesome, interesting relationship, I think, because I came in at a time where, I'd like to imagine that, not that I'm or anything, but certainly I helped hopefully bring some attention to AIW, and that's not to take away from anybody, just hopefully, because I was the only Chicago dude essentially. And at the same time, AIW grew and grew and grew and helped people see me in a different light, whether it's by giving me the ball with guys like Hutter or Madman Pondo or Kendrick. So it's this really cool relationship, a symbiotic relationship where we're working together. And it's the only place I feel like, besides Chicago too, where I feel as though I do some crazy stuff in the ring in AIW that I won't do anywhere else. And that's because I'll do anything for you fans, because I love the fans there so much. And I feel like that relationship is reciprocated, because I feel like the people there would do anything for me too. So tomorrow's going to be good.
Very fun. The fans are going to have a great time, and I hope all the workers in the back just have as great of a time. I hope everyone has a great time, really, Everyone has a fun time, That's what wrestling is about, right? Having fun. Well, Tim, I know I'm being repetitive here, but thank you so much again for coming on. It was a great pleasure for me to talk to you for a bit. And thanks to anyone for listening. I hope you had as great of a time as I did. And if you did, please come back next time for another episode, because we're going to have plenty more in the future. So, for Tim Donst, I am Juicy Pat Lucy, and thank you for listening to The Juicy Details.